Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Side Hustle. I'm your host, Bryan Fonseca, and on this episode, we're going to sit down with Nicole Romero, who is an emerging actress in New York City, and we're going to talk to her about all the things she's had to go through to sort of help make this dream work.
Right. We're going to have to go through that from the top. So, Side Hustle carrot, take 5 marker.
All right, so you're trying this whole acting thing out.
Mm-hmm.
in
Trying.
In New York City, obviously, and it's very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very difficult, and I don't think enough people realize because it's one of those things that when you're young and you're growing up, you were like, oh, I want to be an actor, I want to be an actress.
Yeah.
But first, let's get into just your background. How did you start, and what actually made you want to seriously pursue this?
Before I could put a name to it, I just liked putting on shows for family members and just any type of birthday party, any type of family event, anyone visiting from outside, my cousins and I. But in this very room, we would all kind of put on a small talent show and just do bullshit. Yeah, just perform. My aunt would give me and my cousin dance costumes, and another cousin would make jokes, and so I think when I was 4 or 5, we kind of had our little ensemble of things that we like to do. That's where I kind of got the taste of it, and I'd be like, maybe I can act, sing, dance all at the same time, because I also studied at Broadway Dance Center for a while, tap and jazz.
How old were you as all this was going on?
So this was starting from like I said, when I'd like to put on shows from 4 to 5 years old up until I was 11. Okay. Of just kind of getting a taste of everything of acting, doing monologues and performing, tap dance and kind of musical theater. So it's all the 3 things coming at me: acting, singing, dancing. And so once I got into high school, for some reason I was just incredibly magnetized to the drama club.
So college.
Yes.
And that's what I wanted to get to, because you just mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you made the ballsy decision of leaving very early and deciding to leave sort of a standard 4-year private college or whatever and pursue acting.
Right.
So 1, what was the reaction to that decision? 2, what ultimately made you, want to take that leap?
I don't even remember exactly what my decision was to decide to go to college. It wasn't peer pressure, but I did have a few friends who were also going there, and I didn't do enough research to figure out until later in the school year that college did not have a big acting program. I took a dramatic and screenwriting class with a wonderful professor, and I have a big kinship to him still to this day. We would write up our own kind of scripts in that class. I mean, you know who I'm talking about. The same one that we took.
Shout out to Professor Quinn.
So Quinn, one day after we, read all of our scenes that we had written and performed in front of the class and for him, everyone was gone from the room, came up to me and asked me so this is what you want to do, professionally for the rest of your life? Mm-hmm. Acting? Mm-hmm. I was a little thrown off, but I was just I think that's kind of the goal. I think that's one of the things I'm best at. And he literally just goes to me and was do yourself a favor. Mm-hmm. Get the hell out of here.
Okay.
And he's you have something that this school is not going to be able to satisfy for you. You have to go to a specialized acting school if you want to do this. And I think you can, not here. The school year ended like that, and I still did not know where I was going. I had no idea. Okay. And I remember just complaining to all my friends during that summer before I started at my college, guys, I have no idea, no one's coming back to me, I have no auditions set up. And then literally smack dab in the middle of August, this man from my college, he doesn't work there anymore, but shout out to Charlie Frisco, who literally did everything for me. Okay. Set up an audition, I think literally in the last, or maybe second to last week of August, for my college, the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. And I got to audition for the founder, Joan C., rest in peace, she's no longer with us. And just in 3 steps, it was done.
All right, so we're gonna get into specifically what your roles were, but how have you sort of maintained yourself, throughout all this time? Because people probably look at a screen and they're like, oh, they're acting, they're making a lot of money. Or just like in my field, they're writing, they're on TV, they're making a lot of money. When it's not the case. Now I'm getting triggered. You have to sort of explain people like, yeah,
like
listen,
freelance is like
yeah, there's a lot of instability, and there's a lot of money that isn't really substantial, and it's random, and you don't know when you're gonna get it. You're doing these gigs, so how have you been able to sort of maintain yourself with like, your real like a day job, so to speak?
Like once I graduated, I did a bunch of, short films with kids from like NYU Tisch School of Visual Arts, Brooklyn College, City College, Fashion Institute, et cetera, et cetera. Like the list goes on. And then I made my own content. But after that, currently now, my side hustle is working at a museum. And it's good money because I do earn a commission. So that money and the extra commission goes to just acting classes that I still take today because, acting classes are a thing and they're affordable, and, just keep training on, especially with what I focus on, film and television, just working on camera auditions and on camera scene study. That's my main focus right now, and they're expensive. So that's where the museum job comes in. That's where the extra commission comes in. And it does come in clutch a lot because I'm still in, paying off the student loans and things like that, because college will always kind of follow you even when you're done with it. And in terms of like the money that I get from acting, I just recently started getting that. Because once I graduated college, it was more of like, okay, what good stuff can I do that can go on a resume, can go on a reel, can go on a website, can showcase what I've just learned, but also like is free.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of student films. I went through a lot. It was like 2 years of just student film after student film after student film, all free, all over the map, like Manhattan.
Well, let's get into that then.
Okay.
Because you've obviously been through a lot of those things. I mean, at least you have enough to form your own IMDb, which is up right now.
Oh my God, that's absolutely true. I finally have an IMDb page. I've had so many people pester me about it, and I'm like, do I need it though?
Yeah.
You do. It puts you out there.
Like the museum stuff is holding you over, and I don't think a lot of people recognize that. Again, just with acting or whatever, or with anything you're doing, a lot of people have quote unquote real jobs. So that's technically your real job, where acting is your side hustle, and obviously you want to flip those things.
Kind of, yeah, actually.
Which is why we're here. So those 2 years that you talked about, you've been through a lot.
Yeah.
And it could be triggering or whatever. But what are some
to
of the,
unpack,
yeah, but what are some of those things that you experienced over the last couple of years?
So right out the bat, like I said, out of college, it's just free work, anywhere you can get it. And sometimes they'll have you sign like a waiver of some sort.
Yeah, they try to get you.
With waivers, there's discrepancies of how many hours are we gonna do this? How many days is it gonna last? There's been situations where I haven't been fed for many hours. The students would have like mental breakdowns on set because like they have to reach a deadline, and that would just make the production take even longer. Like I've actually had a director like cry on location, and it took a good while to calm her down. In those 2 years, I've learned a lot of how long can I hold myself over until I have my next meal? How many snacks should I bring with me? But that doesn't, not to discredit any of the good experiences that I've had. I mean, there are so many smart kids out there, and they literally are the future of filmmaking.
So with all that being said, you're what, 22, 23, right? Do you look at younger actors like 18, 19, and they're, they've gotten to a certain place already? Do you look at that and be like, that's bullshit? Is there an upsetting feeling at that? Or there are people who get lucky breaks, there are people who earned it. You might not know how to differentiate the two, but how does that sort of resonate with you when you see that?
That's really a double-edged sword. I mean, is there jealousy when it comes to seeing younger actors reach, that kind of commercial success? Yes and no.
Okay.
Just landing a lead role on a big major network, that's insane. And
does that put them at a disadvantage?
I think
because they've grown too quickly.
As every actor, we're incredibly insecure, and we're always kind of wondering what's next. How am I gonna feed myself next? So even if you get this big contract deal with a major network or a big Hollywood movie, it's kind of like, well, what am I gonna do after this? Am I gonna stay relevant? Are people gonna remember me just for this role? You know, if they want to stay in that role for X amount of time, or if they think, you know, no, this is just a stepping stone.
Well, I think, you know, you've also had the opportunity to do your own stuff. Not getting those roles and not getting, I guess, pushed into the spotlight very early has given you the opportunity to learn and experiment and do things on your own.
Right.
You've done things like Cybil, your own original web series. You've done some other stuff. So sort of break that down for us, and what have those lessons taught you from sort of venturing out and doing your own things?
I learned how arduous that side is, and how to expose yourself when nobody else is or is bothering to.
Okay.
Since I haven't gotten these big, groundbreaking person of color roles, I created that for myself, you know, by writing my own material and coming up with these characters and relationships and things like that. And I learned a lot of the other side, the third side, not the acting, not the filmmaking, but the production of it all. I recently had a film go to this year's Tribeca Film Festival. So, you know, this year was a year for first, which was awesome.
Yeah, and you didn't find out about it until after?
It's a wonderful story. It's a great story. I didn't find out until I think the day after, and it was the last day.
Such a bummer.
Of Tribeca. It's cool. It's
man.
cool.
And I was there and I didn't see it either.
It's cool. It happens. I've made it into festivals internationally, you know, in Dubai, in places.
Dubai Film Festival?
I think it was a women's Dubai Film Festival, something like that. I remember that the screening was in Dubai. I did another one with the New York Film Academy, and I think that reached either like France or something like that. I know that it was in Europe.
Did you find out about all these after the fact?
Disclaimer. I found out about all these festivals much later after the fact that my face had been there. It's kind of how my career is going at the moment.
Okay.
But thankfully, I don't think that's going to be a pattern anymore, because I also got to do my first feature film this year, and we're hoping that also reaches festivals, because I know that movie is in a festival kind of circuit right now, where it's being submitted to festivals that are going to be in Toronto and France.
Okay.
Sundance. We're praying. We're hoping. It feels like finally things are taking off.
Yeah. So with all that being said, and we sort of hinted at this just now, but like, where do you hope this not ends up, but where do you hope it takes you in your immediate future? You know, next 3 to 5 years, what are the sort of things that you would hope to see as far as acting goes?
Definitely in like the immediate future, a lot more festivals.
Okay.
Here's the thing that I do. I watch a couple shows. I have a lot of favorite shows, and then as I'm watching the show, in my brain, I kind of think of a character that I could portray. So for example, I'll watch a soap, or I'll watch a drama, and I'll think to myself like, oh, well, I could always come into this episode as like the long lost sister, or as the girl who's gonna shake things up in this small town, or things like that. And I feel like that is kind of prep into what I could be doing on the next Netflix series, or on the next Amazon documentary, or the next Hulu miniseries. And there's so much of that going on right now. So it's a wonderful thing, because there's so many opportunities, especially for women of color, women who look like me, women who have been used to doing the supporting role of a best friend or a comic relief, which I had done for a good while. I've just now, recently in the past year, been getting roles of like the lead intellectual coming of age girl who has this big gripe that she has to deal with, and how she deals with it. My goal is to really just keep striving forward, whether it be with my own original content or somebody else's content, and make it there, make it to Netflix, make it to Amazon, make it to the next indie feature that'll rattle people's bones.
Yeah. We like rattling bones.
We like rattling bones.
Oh, yeah. And that is all for this week's episode of Side Hustle. We really hope you enjoyed that conversation with Nicole Romero. We'll be back with more Side Hustle content very soon.
Yeah, that's a good one. We're going to print that one, guys. It's a wrap on Bryan. We don't pack it up.
Where did she even come from?